Toys Nation. There's definitely a connection between the European products that have come out recently and this current product. But I think if you look at it, the lines are a little bit more relaxed, lines are a little bit more sculpted, a little bit more agile, a little bit more athletic than you see in some of our European products. But I think that the overall aspiration of the car was that we wanted a much more sculpted, a much more bolder shape than we've ever had on Taurus before. I think if you look at the overall shape, it is totally reskinned from the current Taurus today. It is still a D-size product. It still has a very similar wheelbase, but you will notice that the car has a much more athletic stance. It has a different roof height. It has a different wheel placement in terms of body to wheel relationship. But mainly, it is a reinterpretation of the Taurus and actually the spirit of Taurus from the early 80s, so actually mid 80s. So I think when you look at the front grille, you look at headlamp placement, you look at all the serpentine curves that transfer energy from front to rear, it is a total reworking of the current Taurus.
I've also heard that you guys did a lot of other stuff on the interiors too. Can you?
Yes. Well, the interiors are brand new too. You know, like Mama used to say, you know, it's not just the outside that counts; it's what's on the inside.
Can you show us some of what's going on inside?
Yeah.
All right.
I think the biggest deal on the interior is that you can see now it has a double brow, and essentially what that means is you have much more of like a Mustang kind of like feel on the IP, and then these lines actually flow from IP to console, and it actually creates a unique space for the occupant. You know, each occupant has its own space. And remember, you know, these cars are going to be with us, you know, for years to come, so they need to age gracefully. So you can see a lot of attention went into the lines and the flowing of the lines, so that, you know, in a couple of years the shape will still be relevant, the shape will still be beautiful. I mean, you can see, if you look at the actual tail lamps and the graphics, you can see cars of Fords of old. I mean, it reeks of LTD, it reeks of previous Tauruses actually, with just how there's a red shape with a white island in between it, and then of course with the chrome accent, which is a touch of class that we've added that they didn't have before. But just the proportion, just the scale of lamp is very reminiscent of Tauruses of the past.
So for young aspiring individuals who would want to get an opportunity to design cars and actually see millions of their work, millions of copies of their work on the streets, how could they get in? What advice can you give them on how to get started?
The biggest advice to give anybody who wants to be a car designer is to love to draw. I think the ability to draw, you know, the knowledge of understanding how cars come together, and essentially, you know, just being inundated with the industry, I think will help you. But the number one key ingredient is the ability to sketch and to be able to create your ideas so that others can enjoy it.